You okay there?
Who are... Oh, I say, wait.
So he was.
Hey, don't go...
What kind of...
Don't even... that's not...
And there he goes.
Shh! Don't say anything and don't look back. Any... You followed us a long way. Why don't you come out and introduce yourselves?
So you're Lenny, and we save us a
Paimon doesn't like the tone of your voice, mister! Who sent you, huh?
Save your...
Now, I'm not the strongest fighter, so I hope you're ready to...
Don't worry, we got this!
Illusion shattered!
And voila!
Curses. They're tougher than we thought. Come on, let's scram!
Hey, wise guys! We ain't through with you yet! Oh, they got away! Did you catch what the... Sounds like they just wanted to rough us up as a scare tactic. You're right. Maybe she was...
Let's head back...
Gemma?
You again.
We just... So...
What? That's putting it It's been 10... How do I know
I'm afraid I can't... Because you see... I've heard that... Do you know where it...
The Fluvison. I also know...
Understood.
Got it. But if I'm staying...
I mean...
Okay.
Looks like no more free coffee for me.
It just keeps getting more bitter. The show can't go on.
If Gemma gave us the right location, then the workshop should be right nearby. Huh. Looks like these boxes are... There we go. It should...
This was Caesar's workshop. Nothing suspicious here, just normal magic props. Let's head in further. What was that? Oh, is this one of Caesar's gadgets? Guess we must have triggered some sort of device.
Step right up.
Wheel of Life.
Now disappear.
Whoa. Look. The doll in the box is glowing. There's something written on the card on this doll. Let's take a closer look.
I wonder what my dear sister Lynette is doing right now. Missing me to death.
These magic boxes are moving. What do we do?
One of them looks different from the rest. Let's investigate.
Got it. We're supposed to find the box that lit up at the start, right? There should be another wish list inside. Let's keep trying. That's weird. Have we reached the end already? There's nothing here. Maybe this was a wasted trip.
This place seems a little too We've triggered quite a few devices on the way here. If so, then there must be more to this place than meets the eye. Maybe a hidden... Aha!
A secret...
I'm a magician too, and it looks pretty big and... And voila! Stay calm, stay calm. Here comes the finale.
Positions.
There is no escape! Illusion shattered!
Wow. Faster? Okay, faster.
Shine down!
Step right up.
Why have you stopped, Lenny?
It just looks familiar somehow. Let me check this out for a second while you guys go on ahead. If anyone makes...
All right. Seems like we can't step on the same tile twice. Guess we've got to finish it in one run, huh? Wow! There's a hidden room here! This book's thick as a brick!
At one of my shows a few days ago, as a joke, I told the kid that the hat has a built-in wish-granting machine. Next thing I know, today a whole bunch of kids were pestering me to pull all sorts of things out of the hat. So I told them another white lie. The machine needs time to power up, but in the meantime, you can write your wishes down. Well, they took me up on that offer, enthusiastically. As I write this, I've only just got back from running around all over town, buying the things they wanted. Boy, are my legs sore. I wound up saving very little this month, but that's not a major issue. I now have a big... 2 children came to talk to me after today's show. I don't know why they were out on their own. They looked much too young to be unsupervised. I do hope they got home safely. Anyway, they said that they wanted me to teach them how to do magic. I told them that learning magic is very hard work, but that didn't faze them at all. It seems like something's bothering Lord. Surely he's not upset that I agreed to teach those 2 children. I'll have to talk him around. I have a good feeling about those kids. They're naturally talented, and at sea, they have all sorts of fantastic ideas. They wanted to call me Master, but I told them they absolutely mustn't. With time, Gemma thinks so too. It's nearly time for me to go on tour. I asked the 2 kids. I once overheard them talking about their father and their mission. Sounds like their parents. It's only been 10 days since I first met them, but I think they're very tough. They hide things from me too. For example, when I asked them where they live, that's the thing about children. When I can sense that their lives have been hard after thinking things over. P.S. I hope they won't find my nagging annoying. Children are so opinionated nowadays. P.P.S. Oh, Caesar,
Two magic geniuses with a father and a mission, huh? Sounds a lot like he was writing about Linny and Lynette, don't you? So did they meet?
Faster? Okay, faster.
Linny?
Shh, hold that thought.
Fishy?
All in good. First, the magician slots themselves into him at this point. Meanwhile, oh no!
Very.
The audience is gay. Of course, that's just how I think the inventor, he fell right to the... and no one else.
So Caesar Paimon was about. Wait a second.
Glad you asked. This box right here is the one that Caesar can... Once the magician's inside, and the box is lifted up and from where there's... At this point, he then escapes through this trapdoor onto the...
That's way simpler than Paimon imagined.
Well, there's a little more. There's the following. Many days. Caesar was a hut.
So,
I can make a... I looked into the case files.
okay.
But here's the strange thing. Most of the devices in this workshop have the mechanism on the left-hand side, including this box right here. Because a magician can't afford to have their most basic habits but the essence of and so, but in his most stressful and nerve-wracking exactly, I think that's likely what happened. Caesar would have been under a lot of time pressure during the escape. He'd have had mere seconds to open the but I'm sure he was confident. He would have rehearsed countless times to the point where it was second nature. So he opened the compartment, took out the dummy, checked everything was in order, and then went to leave. With his left hand, he reached for the button, and suddenly, his heart skipped. Much like when you reach for your keys but find your pocket empty, his mind needed a moment to process what was going on. Instinctively, with the stakes being as high as they were, just a 2-second delay cost him
When in reality, someone switched the boxes, and they did it to murder him. But how would they be?
It would have to have been someone who knew that he was left-handed. And isn't that right?
You just couldn't let sleeping. There's not a lot of people who'd go to all this trouble for some but I gave you your...
You mean...
Yes, although... Which is why you can't leave...
Now disappear!
There is no escape! Ha! Ha!
Faster? Okay, faster.
And voila! Now disappear!
You kids are tougher than you look.
Had enough yet, Lorenzo? Your cronies can't help you now. I think it's high time you started
He was just an amateur who did cheap tricks for gullible children. I was the one who made...
So it was...
Jealousy. He poured everything into it, but the people loved him, didn't they? Oh, how they looked up to him. No one gave me a second look. All I ever heard was, "Oh, your master's amazing, isn't he?" Amazing. Yeah, so amazing that he was completely broke. Every other apprentice was living it up at their master's expense, but no, not me. I put in all the work he forbade, and with his reputation in Fontaine, it was too risky for me to go it alone. As long as he was alive, if I had to kill...
And this was...
It was reason...
Well, I was...
In love with...
Guess I was wrong.
I am. Caesar. I never bought into any of that.
Oh, yeah!
That's just how it... I stole cheap...
So, that's...
What choice? So be it.
Very well. Traveler, Paimon. Keep an eye on Lorenzo for...
At least...
Lenny has told me the whole story. Lorenzo, do you confess to the murder of Caesar and to framing him for the Phantom?
Look who's... What kind of disciple murders their own master? I hope it was worth it. Because...
Looks like it's all over. What should we do next, Lenny? Should we...
Let's rendezvous with...
Good point!
It should be fine. I'm sure it'll get resolved.
Ah, you're back. You were so quick. I've only just finished my third dessert.
Your third? Lynette, come on, we've talked about this. Everything in moderation. You're not gonna have any room left for dinner now.
It's fine. I'll shift to exercise mode and jog off the excess sugar.
That's besides the point. Well, it's done now, but try to eat a more balanced diet in the future.
Point taken.
Did everything go okay?
Of course! Lorenzo was no match for us. The guards are taking him into custody as we speak.
Gosh, I had my suspicions about Lorenzo, but
It's okay, but you don't...
I was so... Thank you all.
Thank you all for clearing Caesar's name. I never would have guessed that Lorenzo was the real Phantom Weasel. He never showed any signs that they were... to think at least his soul can
Don't blame yourself.
Yeah.
Cheer up, Gemma. My brother's doing this show.
In Caesar's honor.
Great. We'll see you tomorrow evening.
Don't worry, we'll be there. No, where are we... Wait. Paimon feels like we're forgetting something. Oh yeah, Caesar's diary! We never found out if the two kids Caesar taught Lenny changed the topic back in the workshop, so we didn't...
Not this time, so I'll be watching with you.
Good evening, ladies. The great magician Linny has prepared...
Thank you all.
Exciting stuff, isn't it?
Yes, it's just... It reminds me of him.
No wonder. Caesar was a famous magician too. So, how did you two first meet, Gemma?
Well, I was out on the street once, and I saw him performing for little children. Children love magic, because they're willing to believe in things that can't be rationally explained. Caesar had this amazing way of... And somehow, I felt drawn to him too.
Aw, that sounds so romantic. What trick did he do?
It was with a flower. He took it in his hand, snapped his fingers, and... I was so happy that day. No one had...
Oh, that's so cute!
Is that right? Then I suppose he's a romantic at heart, just like Caesar. So let's treasure the time we have with him. After all,
That's right. It's Paimon doesn't really know how to comfort you, but...
Right. Yes, you can breathe easy now.
See? Even Lynette says... Wait, what? The Phantom Weasel? Lorenzo escaped? Where is he?
What do you mean, Phantom Weasel?
As Linny once said, a performer's job is to commit fully to their role and put on a... But once the bag of tricks is empty and the curtain falls, it's time to end the show. It's been 10 years, Gemma. Aren't you tired of the grieving widow act?
What are you talking about? Paimon doesn't like this riddle. Traveler, Paimon doesn't like where this is going. Come on!
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all... There will now be a brief intermission, after which the final performance will take place outside of the Opera House. So...
The Phantom Weasel never did like public places, did they? Don't worry, this place will be quiet soon.
Dear me, this is awkward, isn't it? And unfortunately, I'm all out of gadgets, so I'm afraid I can't do any tricks to liven up the mood. This is a big mistake for a magician to make, but thankfully...
Linny? Don't have Lynette accused Gemma of being the real
all in good time.
Really? Well...
Let's go back to the very beginning. A decade ago, when the Phantom Weasel... But as her infamy grew, so did the readiness of the police, and her opportunities to act became ever fewer. Every day, she ran the risk of being exposed for who she was. Of course, she could not simply take this lying down, and before long, she found her ticket to freedom. She would create a scapegoat, a false weasel to close the chapter on her behalf. After weighing her options, she set her sights on a renowned magician, Caesar. After all, magic and theft shared enough similarities for people to buy the story when the truth came out.
So then what?
Being the master deceiver she was, the weasel easily earned Caesar's trust. Now, all that remained was to frame him for her countless crimes. But as she was considering how to make her move, she noticed Caesar's aggrieved pupil, and a new thought entered her mind. Maybe I don't need to get my hands dirty after all. At her encouragement, Lorenzo tampered with Caesar's magic box, causing him to fall to his death. Afterwards, Lorenzo seized his master's property, and the weasel set about tarnishing Caesar's reputation. 2 co-conspirators committed the perfect crime.
I've got to hand it to you. You're both exceptional storytellers. It's enough to make you... But I just have one question.
Don't worry, Lorenzo said nothing at all, but I never believed that he was the weasel, and in fact, my investigation only made me more certain of that. He was too forthcoming with his confession, as if there was something else he was trying to hide.
How disappointing. So you'd sooner trust Lorenzo than me? Even without a shred of evidence?
A magician is an expert at playing the audience to get the result they want. And with a little help from Lorenzo, Caesar was maligned, and who would suspect for what?
Wait. But why would Lorenzo agree to that? And why did...
Yes, why indeed? Maybe Gemma herself could enlighten us on that question.
Well, Linny, if you're so confident having killed Caesar with his own hands, Lorenzo was plagued by overwhelming guilt. Revealing the Phantom Weasel's true identity would serve no purpose. But...
An excellent answer, though sadly a little dull.
Is that right? Well, don't let me bore you. If you'd care to change the topic to something more interesting, I'd be much obliged.
As a matter of fact, there's one thing I'd really like to understand. Why would the real weasel have
Of course. If I had to guess, I would say that the real weasel must have had left to fend for herself after her parents died young. Betrayed. Scorned. She'd scrounge waste paper from garbage bins to draw on. Using twigs and dirt. This was her only source of happiness in life. But it was all she needed. And she was content. Until the world decided that even this was too good for her. Once again, she was betrayed. And this time, everything was taken from her. She felt like life was a miry pit that dragged her further down the more she struggled to escape. At that tender age, she should have been happy. Instead, she stood in the shadows and watched with envy as all good things in the world passed her by. This was a fate too cruel for anyone to bear. Her pain became a breeding ground for dark thoughts. Thoughts which festered and grew into a twisted solution to her troubles. I detest the happiness of others, in all its forms alike. I will rob them of everything they hold to be good and true, and it will fill the void in my soul.
That's some pretty heavy stuff.
Now it all makes sense.
Does this story satisfy you, Linny?
Yes, it is quite to my tastes. Thank you for helping to clear up my confusion.
Huh. That's right. What drove you to write that letter, Gemma? What were you trying to achieve there? Because without that, none of this would have ever come to light.
She didn't write the letter.
After 10 long years, I'd hoped that the Phantom Weasel would be consigned to the history books by now. But it seems like someone still wasn't ready to let her finally be at peace. Linny. Or should I call you the Phantom Copycat now?
Very sharp, Phantom Weasel. Still as shrewd. Well, no need for me to be cold. The most straightforward way to change the public's impression of Caesar was to force the weasel to show themselves. Of course we did.
10 years ago? You mean... Wait. Oh, I get it. You were those 2 obnoxious kids. It's been so long, and you're all grown up now. I didn't recognize you. He taught you magic back then, didn't he? For what, 10 days or something? And you went to all this trouble. Why? Because you feel like you still owe him something?
We remember all our debts, however great or small. 10 years ago, Caesar's reputation was torn to shreds and his legacy was thrown out. 10 years on, and no one cares what the truth is anymore. But we did not forget, and so we came to find you.
And? What exactly did you take from me? I'm still standing, as you can see. Lorenzo has admitted to everything. I'm free.
Free? Do you really think so? Caesar once told me that even though the world is filled with lies and falsehoods, we must find our own truth. I think that applies to you too. Truth can take many forms. Prized possessions with nostalgic value, fervent hopes and dreams, and irreplaceable people. Life took many things from you, and those wounds never healed. When they ached unbearably in the dead of night, stealing became your way of numbing the pain.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that for the last 10 years, you've been living a rather uneventful life. Perhaps that's because you found something other than a life of crime to fill the hole? Back to Lorenzo for a second. He murdered his own master, played along with your act, and took pains to make sure any suspicion would be directed towards him. But what did he have to gain from all that? He knew who you were and the things you'd done, and despite that, he was willing to give everything up for your sake. He's the reason that you haven't felt the compulsion to steal in all these years. You're more than just accomplices in murder. You're the only real friends each other has. So I think you know, deep down, that he is the only truth you have in your life. But that truth is gone now, and I guarantee you, you'll never see it again.
Congratulations on your freedom, Gemma.
Your freedom will cost you dearly. From now on, you'll be all alone in a world full of lies and falsehoods. I do hope you'll be able to bear it. You've still got a long life ahead of you after all.
Gather round, one and all. The time has now come for the amazing Lenny to perform his final act in tonight's show. I'm sure you're all wondering what he has planned for the grand finale. Well, wonder no more, for the answer is a death-defying high-altitude escape.
A high-altitude escape?
I'm sure you all remember the magician Caesar. This was the very trick that led to his fatal fall, after which he was dubbed the Phantom Weasel. But we have now learned that Caesar was wrongly accused, and that the real Weasel has now confessed to their crimes.
Guess that's my cue to leave. Whew. I've been practicing this one for ages now, but I'm still a little nervous. Traveler, Paimon, I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. There may be a lot of people watching tonight, but you alone are my true witnesses.
Lenny, wait. You two hid a lot from Caesar. He went to his grave without ever knowing your secrets. So what about now? Are you an open book? Or are you still the same as ever? You don't have to tell lies to end up isolated and alone. One day, you'll end up exactly where I am today. Maybe then you'll finally understand.
You're wrong. I'm nothing like you.
So,
Like Lenny said, when you're ready, let's head outside.
but what about Gemma?
She'll figure out what...
All right. Well, let's go.
Magic should be mysterious, surprising, and defy logic. Magic is hard work. Every single movement has to be practiced thousands of times.
It's alright. We're used to that.
We're sorry. You've taught us so much, but we can't tell you the whole truth.
It's okay. Do you still remember what I told you? This world is full of lies and falsehoods. I only hope that one day you can find your own truth.
What about you? Have you found your truth?
Magic is my truth. I want to perform a magic trick so great that people will always think of me when they talk about it. For a magician, what greater honor could there be?
Look! Behold! Linny is sealed inside the box. Will he manage to escape? 10 years ago, Caesar attempted this very trick, and it was at this precise moment that...
Watch out!
Mysterious. Surprising. And logic defying.